I shall explain the experiment number 4, measurement of phase shift and observation of magnetizing current waveform and hysteresis loop by CRO or cathode ray oscilloscope. So here there will be no reading. If you do in laboratory also, only you have to trace the characteristics from the cathode ray oscilloscope. So there are three objective or three steps of this experiment. First is to observe the magnetizing current waveform of a single phase transformer at different energizing voltage. When the transformer is at no load, then we can give this different energizing voltage and we can see the magnetizing current. Magnetizing current is the current which is producing flux in the transformer core, and due to that the voltage is induced in the secondary. So we shall observe, and if it is in laboratory, then we shall trace the magnetizing current waveform. Second is to measure the phase difference between two sinusoidal voltages from oscilloscopic observation. Actually, second step is required here to perform the third step actually. So it is an intermediate step. So actually here we shall measure the phase difference between two sinusoidal voltages. That we can measure the phase difference from between two sinusoidal voltages if they are applied at the X plate and Y plate of a CRO. Then by Lissajous pattern we can find out phase difference, we can find out what is the frequency ratio, we can calculate all this. Third is to observe the hysteresis loop of core material of a single phase transformer of an oscilloscope. These three are objectives. Have you got the instruction manual of the
Yes,
lab?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
These things are
Yes,
exactly
ma'am.
in the instruction manual. I have just copied from there. So these are three steps. If you have instruction manual beside you, then you can open the experiment number 4. You can see this one. This is the objective. So the first objective is to observe the waveform of the magnetizing current. So what is the magnetizing current? Magnetizing current is when its transformer is at no load, then if we apply voltage, then what is the current in the primary? That is the magnetizing current, because that will produce the flux within the primary, within the core. Due to that, there will be an induced EMF in the secondary winding, and we shall get voltage at the secondary. So this is the magnetizing current. So magnetizing current, to observe the magnetizing current, transformer secondary should be open. Otherwise, if there be any load at transformer secondary, that will be reflected in the primary. So this current in that case will be summation of magnetizing current plus component of secondary current to the primary. So if we want to observe only the magnetizing current, then obviously the secondary should be open. So this is the magnetizing current. Now, if we want to observe the magnetizing current, this is the magnetization curve. For the AC application, this curve is the normal magnetization curve. If you join all the tips of hysteresis loop of any magnetic material, then we get this magnetization curve. That thing we have learned in your first year principles of electrical engineering class. So this is the magnetization curve. So if we apply the sinusoidal voltage, then flux wave will be sinusoidal. So for each value of flux, if we plot the current, so if this is the flux, then in BH graph, this y-axis will give you the flux, because y-axis B is proportional to phi, H is proportional to I. So this may be phi I curve also. In that way, we can get the phi from here. So in that case, this will be the I. Actually, in that case, this side will be I, this side will be phi. Then for any value of phi here, say phi 1, we can get that phi 1 here. So this is here. So for that, we can get a I1. So in that way, we can, for this particular time or angle 30 degree, again we plot this I1 here. So in that way, we can trace the magnetization current. I think you have learned this one in three-phase transformer, is not it? Or in AC machines, maybe. Have you learned this?
Yes, ma'am.
So there are two observations. If the applied voltage is sinusoidal, then flux wave will be sinusoidal. Then if for the linear portion of magnetization curve, obviously the magnetization current will be sinusoidal, because in linear portion, what will be the change in phi? The change in I will be proportional. But if we go on the saturation zone, then there is no such change in phi for the change in I, because phi is almost constant. In that case, the magnetization curve becomes peaky in nature. So obviously, we shall observe this one if we see it in oscilloscope. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what will be our expectation to observe? That is, if we apply lower voltage, that means lower voltage as compared to the transformer rating, then we shall observe the magnetization current as sinusoidal. But if we apply the voltage near to the rated one and more than the rated one, then we shall get the magnetization curve peaky in nature. And generally, transformer is designed such that at rated voltage, the operating point on the magnetization curve is near to knee point, sorry, K point, so knee point. So in that case, near the rated voltage also, the magnetization current will be to some extent, no, to some extent peaky in nature or deformed in nature, because it is very near to the saturation zone. So what we can expect for the lower voltage, the magnetization curve will be linear, or that means purely sinusoidal. If we apply sinusoidal voltage, then we shall get sinusoidal magnetization curve. Now, if we apply increase the energizing voltage or excitation voltage, then the magnetization current will become gradually peaky in nature, and we shall can observe the deformation. But there it should have the half wave symmetry. On the positive half cycle or negative half cycle, they will be symmetrical. This thing you have already learned in your machine class also. So I am proceeding to next. Okay. Have you understood up to this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
you may have to answer the question on the different labs. Okay. Now, actually, when we apply it in its AC quantity, then BH characteristics is actually the hysteresis loop, right? So in that case, in the same figure I have drawn in different way. So if this is the magnetic flux lines shown by dotted line sinusoidal, then if we trace in the same way as I have shown here, then we can see the wave magnetization curve will be like this. Now you know here BH curve, B lags behind H. So in that case, current will also lag, and you will see that here magnetizing current is here, is starting from here. So if we see the in oscilloscope for one full cycle, then it will start from here and it will go in this way. We shall get up to this, and this thing will be repeating. It will go on. So for higher voltage, we shall get this type of waveform. Okay, not exactly peaky in nature, but there is some deformation at near zero crossing also due to the residual magnetism. So if we see in the magnetization current waveform in the oscilloscope, then we shall get this. So I just copy it from here and delete the remaining portion, because we shall see this figure in the oscilloscope. We shall expect that one. Now you see what will be the circuit. If this is the test transformer, if I would measure the current, then I would connect a ammeter in the primary. And to measure the voltage, a voltmeter in parallel in the primary side. But here you don't want to measure the current, but to observe this in oscilloscope. Oscilloscope does not understand any current. It can sense only the voltage. There is only voltage input in the oscilloscope. Then how we can measure the current or observe the waveform of a current? We can pass the current through a pure resistor. Then the voltage drop will be in the same phase with the current. Only magnitude will be multiplied by that resistance. So if we see if we only want to observe the waveform, then there is no harm. Then wave shape will be same. Only the value will be changed, multiplied by R. Here we are not measuring current, we are only observing. So we can do that one. So for that reason, we shall put a resistor in the primary circuit instead of this ammeter, and this voltage drop we must give to the vertical input of the CRO, or the vertical plate or Y plate to the CRO, and X plate will be the time. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Then if anyone not understood, then ask me. Then actual circuit in your instruction manual will be like this. So this is the test transformer. So this circuit is actually we need. Okay, and this switch is open. This switch is open. That means this is circuit is not required for the run one. Along with this test transformer, there is one isolating transformer through which it is connected to the source through variac, because we want to change the energizing voltage, so we need a variac. Why we need isolating transformer? We are observing some waveform, so that should be free from any electrical noise or any electrical discrepancy coming from the input side. You know, isolate any transformer give the electrical isolation, because in a transformer there is no connection in between primary and secondary. From primary to secondary, power energy or power is transferred through magnetic circuit totally. That means from this primary side, no electrical quantity directly go to the secondary side or the primary side of test transformer. It will go through the magnetic circuit. So whatever deformation we get, that is deformation generated in test transformer, not came from the isolating transformer, not came from the source. Understood this? What is the use of isolating transformer?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you will not see this isolating transformer in other circuit, but it is required when we are seeing we are observing any waveform in oscilloscope, and we are observing very low current, so there should not be any mixture of the signal with the other signal. For that reason, isolating transformer obviously will not make any voltage step up or step down, so the trans ratio of isolating transformer is 1:1. Then actually in the laboratory, the circuit is like this. So you see whatever circuit here, that is actually printed here, and beside this, all the wire connected to this equipment. So this is the variac, this is the isolating transformer, this is the R12, this is the test transformer, and this will require for the next run, and this is the oscilloscope. Now if you see the circuit actually, so these things are actually printed on the circuit board, so you have to only connect. So here we have to connect from variac to isolating transformer, so variac to isolating transformer, then isolating transformer secondary to R12, so secondary to R12, then from R12 to primary of test transformer, so this one. Then from test transformer, there is no secondary connection, secondary will be open. Now the return path. For return path, test transformer, from test transformer to isolating transformer secondary. So this one, right? Then from isolating transformer to return to variac, and this source is connected, this variac input is connected to the source. So this much will be the circuit. To measure the voltage, we need a voltmeter. So we must connect this one. Have you understood the circuit?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you would have done this experiment in the lab, you would exactly do this one. Only this, instead of this blue lines, you use wire to connect this. Okay, it is exactly same. So this is the connection, and so the lower side is this one. Then what is written? The connect. This I have copied from your instruction manual. Connect as in figure, keeping the circuit transformer secondary open. Obviously, observe the waveform of the magnetizing current on oscilloscope. Terminal 1, 2 are connected to the vertical input of the oscilloscope at 5 to 10 volt, 25 volt, 75 volt, 110 volt, 132 volt. Here I shall give you some not so much observation, some few, because I cannot collect more than that. And actually in lab also we do it for 10 volt, 75 volt, 110 volt and 132 volt, because 10 volt or 25 volt in the lower range, because transformer rating is near to 110 volt. And then this then 132 volt. One thing I have missed here to insert the apparatus used. If it is possible, then I shall insert that one in the PPT and shall give you. Anyway, then we shall do for this one. So this is the circuit I have already explained. Now, if we apply 11 volt instead of 10 volt due to adjustment, it is gone for done for 11 volt for this set for this voltmeter reading 11 volt. Then you can see the waveform is purely sinusoidal. If you go for theory, it was purely sinusoidal. So we are getting the same thing, right? Then if we do it for 75 volt, you will get that some non-linearity is coming. Okay. So if we have seen this one, for when it is near to the saturation, then some non-linearity will come. Then if we do it for 111 volt, then it is non-linear. This is exactly same that we have expected from the theory. In laboratory also, you will get the same thing. This is some experimental observation I have copied from some old reports. That is here, this is for Vs equal to 30 volt. This is Vs equal to 70 volt. This is Vs equal to 110 volt. So if you had have done in laboratory, then you have to put a tracing paper over this oscilloscope screen and just point out the zero crossing, and you have to trace that one. That these people had done, right? So in this way, we do this experiment in the lab. And obviously, you should mark axis here. X-axis time, Y-axis not magnetizing current. He has run, this student had run magnetizing current written, but it is not magnetizing current. It will be V12 because we are not observing magnetizing current. We are observing voltage drop across R12 that is proportional to the magnetizing current. And we should mention what is the input voltage, along with that what is the volt per division, because here it may seems that this current is lower or this voltage drop is lower. Actually that is not the case. Here the scale is different. Okay, you can check the scale is higher, so it is seems to be low, the smaller. Okay, so it is very much important to mention the scale when you are tracing anything from the oscilloscope. Now, if we see from the laboratory, it is like this. It is simply this one. So, just we adjust the variac from here. Okay, and this thing they have done for 25 volt, 24 volt, and you can see the observation is almost linear. So I have shown you for 11 volt theoretically or from report, and 24 volt from the lab. Have you understood that?
Yes, ma'am.
So similarly from 75 volt, if you see from lab, 75 volt, if they have adjusted, then you can see this one, you can get it. Okay, they get it this one in this way. So in this way, you can get it. It is going faster. So now he's adjusting the scale. So we are getting this one. He is adjusting the scale. So it is getting smaller. Okay. So in this way, it is done in the laboratory. Similarly, for 135 volt, that is overexcitation, then it is again we get the nonlinearity. Again, here the scale is much higher. It is, if you make the scale higher, then it will be beyond the screen. So you have to increase the scale so it is within the screen. Okay. So in this way, it is done in laboratory. So have you understood how to observe the waveform, magnetizing current waveform in the oscilloscope?
Yes, ma'am.
At least you can try if you get the lab open with this information. Then next is to measure the phase difference between two sinusoidal voltages from oscilloscopic observation. This theory you have already learned in the oscilloscope part of your measurement class. So here I am telling you only the gist. If these two are voltages, then we can give any one voltage on X plate and another voltage in Y plate and make the oscilloscope in dual mode. Dual mode means in that case, the the data signal fed to the vertical axis will be plotted with respect to the signal fed to the horizontal axis, not with respect to the time. But if we make the ordinary mode, then it will be always with respect to the time. So here, if we give V1 in the X plate and V2 in the V1 in the Y plate, V2 in the X plate, in this waveform, who is leading? Obviously, V1 is leading because V1 is crossing zero at first. So you will get this type of expression. At the same time, if you just alternate, okay, no, I have not drawn this one. So if you do the alternate, then you will get the opposite scenario. At the same way, there may be, if it is in third quadrant, then theta can be calculated in this way. Theoretical portion I am not discussing, you have already gone through this. So in this way, we can measure the phase shift between any two voltages. So here, the phase difference theta means theta is V is theta angle leading from V2. Here also, V1 is 180 minus sine inverse x by x max angle leading from V2. Always it gives the angle of angle of the signal of vertical axis with respect to horizontal axis. And one thing, in this case, always you have to select the XY mode of the oscilloscope. Now, at the same time, if you change the XY mode, if you change to the X mode, then you can see only the sinusoidal voltage V1. If you make Y mode, you can see the only V2. But in XY mode, you will get the Lissajous pattern. Okay. So in this way, we can get. So here, the oscilloscope will be in simply X mode or Y, or simply in Y mode, because on vertical axis we have given the voltage, and here it will be in XY mode or dual mode. So for this experiment, we need dual channel oscilloscope, right? So can you remember this measurement of phase difference by Lissajous pattern to some extent? Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Then if you see in the oscilloscope, this will be the observation. You just revisit your theoretical class. Just I want to give you information right now. For 0 to 360 degree, this will be the angle. Because you see angle is sine inverse y by y max. That means intercept with the y-axis by maximum value, maximum minor axis of this ellipse, sorry. Then sine inverse y by y max, or sine inverse x by x max. So here, obviously it is sine inverse 0 by 0, so 0 degree. Similarly, for 45 degree, it will be 1 by root 2. For 180 degree, it will be just opposite in the negative slope. For 90 degree, obviously, it will be sine inverse 1 by 1. So in that case, it will be a circle. Now it may happen, sine inverse y by 1 does not means always the Lissajous pattern will be a circle. It will be a ellipse also with its minor axis and major axis coincides with the x and y axis. Because in this case also, theta is sine inverse x by x max, or x and x max are same for the x axis, and y max are same for the y axis. So when it is circle or an ellipse with major axis and minor axis are coinciding with the x and y axis, that means the angle is 90 degree. Here we shall require this 90 degree angle actually. Why, I shall explain later. So in this way, we can measure the angles. Now, this is a circuit diagram for the second run 2. Okay, for run 2, we shall close the circuit in secondary. Secondary, it is a simple RC circuit. This RTH, RD actually two resistance to make the resistance variable. Okay, it can be shown by one resistance also. Since in the circuit, it is in the instruction diagram, instruction manual, it is given in this way. So I have kept in this way. But RD means decade resistance, RTH means one rheostat is there. So with both these resistances, we can change the overall resistance of this circuit. In secondary, it is nothing but a RC circuit. The one tapping is brought out from the 50% of this secondary winding, and this point is marked as X, this point is marked as Y. This X is given to horizontal input to the CRO, Y is given to the vertical input of the CRO. That means we shall make, and G is given to the G input or the neutral input to the CRO. That means we shall measure the phase difference in between VGX and VGY. So here VGX we are giving in the horizontal input and VGY at the vertical. So we shall measure the phase of VGY or Y with respect to X. Right? Understood?
Ma'am, can you repeat please one more time?
Have you understood how this X and Y terminal has come out? So if we measure VGX, VGS is nothing but secondary voltage by 2, is not it?
Yes, yes.
And VGY is nothing but the voltage, this E by 2 plus voltage drop across C, is not it?
Yes.
So anyway, we can get two voltage. One is VGX, the voltage between the between the terminal G and X, and another is VGY, voltage between the terminal G and Y. Two voltages are there.
Okay.
Now you see, X terminal we are connecting to the horizontal plate or horizontal input, and input I have written because in instruction manual it is written input, and Y to the vertical input. So what we always measure phase difference of vertical input with respect to horizontal input. So is theta is angle of V1 with respect to V2, right? So here, whatever theta, that will be angle of VGY with respect to VGX. Understood?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now there is no function of V12 here. Then,
Ma'am,
yes,
can you explain the significance of using RD and RTA?
RTH actually we need a series RC circuit with variable resistor, right? So resistance must be varying. So in laboratory with one resistors we cannot get the desired result. So for that reason we have needed two resistors. One is rheostat, that you have seen in your first semester lab. I think have you seen rheostat?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and another is decade resistor. Decade resistance is that in which you can change resistance in step, say 50 ohm, 100 ohm, 150 ohm in that way. And rheostat, there is a smooth change. You cannot check how much resistance you are changing. Only you are changing by assumption that by guess that this much I change and see the result. So rheostat is for smooth control and decay resistance is for direct at a stretch increment in resistance. Like we change we jump the value of resistance, so 50 ohm to 100 ohm in that way.
Resistance box, decade resistance, please. No.
You can say here it is not a box. It is some resistance are connected in series. You can say this is a box like that. Okay, where some resistances are connected in series.
Okay.
So you can take total resistance or some part of that. You can use that one. So shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Then this is the circuit diagram of run 2 that I have already explained. Now actually what is happening? This is actually series RC circuit. Why? Why? Okay, why I think this C. Mm, mm. Okay. So you see, if this is the circuit, then we electrically we can draw the circuit in this way. Actually, this is a RC circuit. So in this RC circuit, the point between R and X, no, it is drawn wrong, I think. Oh,
টা তো সি এর পরে
this will be X, okay? This will be X, and this will be Y, right? This point will be Y, right? I shall correct this one later. This is not Y, right? Have I identified rightly now? You see,
Yes,
in between the supply and the capacitor, there is X terminal. Here, if the total induced EMF is E, total induced EMF is E2, secondary induced EMF, then G point means it is divided into two parts because we have taken from the center. right? So this is E by 2, E by 2. In between that, there is a RC circuit. So in between R and C, this point has termed as Y. So this point as Y. And between any terminal and C, so in between C and the supply voltage, this is X. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now, if we draw the phasor diagram, right, then obviously total voltage is E2. This is simply a RC circuit. If you forget about the transformer, then it is a RC circuit. We are supplying with an AC voltage, right? That AC voltage is the secondary voltage of the test transformer. Am I right? Then E2 is the supply voltage. Then it is a series RC circuit. Then for this series RC circuit, obviously current will be leading from the voltage. If we take E2 as reference phasor or supply voltage as reference phasor, then current will be leading from voltage. Then if we want to draw total phasor diagram, then this voltage drop across this resistance will be in series with this, in phase with this phase of I. So in the same phase I have drawn. Then the voltage across the capacitor will be 90-degree lagging from the current, because in capacitor current leads the voltage. So if we want to draw the voltage, current will be, it will be lagging from the voltage by 90-degree. So this should be 90-degree. So for that reason, this angle, again always will be 90-degree, right? That means Y point will always lie on the semicircle, right? Have you understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Why it is Y? How I have identified this one Y? Then you say in between VR and VC, this is the Y. So this will be Y. On the part of C, on the end point of VC, it is X. So this point will be X. So this is VGX, this is VGY. Can you identify?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Take time and then check. Okay. Then actually we are measuring this angle theta. So by varying R, so if we change the R, what will happen? If we make the R infinity, then what will happen? Then VR will increase and VR will be almost equal to E2 in that case. VC will be gradually zero, because if VR will be infinity, if we increase R, is not it? What will happen if we increase R? Hmm?
All voltage will be dropped across R.
Resistance. That means VC will tends to zero. Then at that condition, Y point will be superimposed with the X point, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So we shall get 90-degree, 0-degree angle.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we want to measure 0-degree, we shall open the resistance, because open the resistance means it is infinite resistance, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now if we short the resistance, then what will happen? Here will be 0. Then Y point will shift here. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Then in that case, theta will be 180-degree. So in that way, we can view 180-degree or 0-degree angle on the oscilloscope by those two straight line. In the same way, by varying resistance, we can make theta 90-degree, theta 45-degree. So 45-degree, we have to measure that for which value theta is coming 45-degree. Then we have to set that one, right? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So actually here, the aim is not to find out the theta for different voltages. Actually, the aim is to find out the value of R for which theta will be 90-degree. Because that will be required for our next run. So that's why actually this run is required. This step is required. We need a voltage VGY which will lead VGX by 90-degree for the next run. Let me explain. So for this experiment, it is just we shall connect the secondary, adjust the input voltage to the suitable value 10 to 25 volt, connect in the terminals VGX and GX and GY to the vertical and horizontal plate respectively. Adjust R and C, not C, only R. For 0 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree phase shifts approximately, because we shall not get exact in the oscilloscope. Note down the intercept and maximum value on y-axis and find out the angles. Sketch the oscilloscope records and note the value of RC. That means for which value you are getting the 0 degree, 45 degree or 90 degree. Calculate phase differences from the trace. This is the decade resistance box, or you can say decade resistance. So some resistances are connected in series and they are marked how much resistance is there, and then you can connect. Say for example, if we connect these two, that means with a wire, that means this resistance is shorted. Then we are taking this much of resistance. Okay. So in this way, we can take any set of resistance from this decade resistance, and this is the rheostat we shall use. Then this is the RTH and this is the RD, and this is the, you can see for the in the circuit there is only one written RTH in the board. So actually within this there are these two resistors are there. So actually from secondary circuit of the transformer it is going there. Then let me explain. Here it will be okay. 1 minute. So actually within this there are two resistor. So from here actually one terminals come here. This is one. This see that the where I have marked 2 with this, it is connected to the capacitor. Then from capacitor here it is connected to the rheostat. From rheostat this red wire is connected here, and from here through this black wire it is connected to the back to the circuit. It is very difficult to understand from here because anyway if you see the PPT you can understand if you trace the lines. Within this there are two resistors. If we explain the circuit, then first circuit is same, primary is same, from the variac to isolating transformer to R1 to the trace transformer primary. Now second, then from if we complete the primary circuit, then transformer to trace transformer, isolating transformer, then return. So this is this completes the primary circuit. Now we have to do the secondary circuit. Secondary circuit is nothing but a RC circuit. So secondary circuit, so voltmeter I have left, so voltmeter is there. Then for secondary circuit, secondary should be connected to C, then will be connected to R. Then there is actually an RD that I have shown on the table. And then from RD, it is connected to the transformer secondary, return to the transformer secondary. Actually, this thing happened here through this resistance on the table. Anyway, now we have to connect the oscilloscope, right? For oscilloscope, this terminal is marked as X. So this X will be connected to the X plate, Y will be connected to the Y, and G will be connected to the G. And these two G are shorted. These leads are connected to the oscilloscope again. Have you understood the oscilloscope connection?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So this is the circuit. Now, if you see the experimental observation, one student has got this type of observation. Every time you must write the angle and what is the resistance. For which resistance he has got the 45-degree angle that he has written. What is the capacitor value? Capacitor value is constant 2 microfarad. Then this is about theta equal to 0 degree, theta equal to 45 degree, theta equal to 90 degree. He has not got exactly circle. Actually, it is not possible to trace from the screen because it is always running. Anyway, it will be near to circle. because our aim is to get the intercept or and the maximum value is the same. Then it will be a 90-degree phase shift. Then from laboratory, if you see, then you can see here by changing, you can see he is changing the resistance and then he is getting the circle. So this is the decay resistance. When we want to change the in steps, then we use the decay resistance, otherwise the rheostat. When he is opening, he is getting the 0 degree angle. Are you seeing that? And by this one, by changing, he can get the 45-degree as well as the 90-degree, right?
Okay, next.
So this is for 45-degree. Similarly, he will get the 90-degree. And then you see, by this fine control, he is reaching the final 90-degree, right? So have you understood the function of decay resistance and the rheostat?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. But actually, we need this 90-degree angle for the next run. Next run is to observe the hysteresis loop of the core material of a single phase transformer on an oscilloscope. What is hysteresis loop? In x-axis, if we draw in theoretically, then in x-axis we shall put H, y-axis B, then we plot the BH curve. For different value of H, we should put the B. Now BH curve is same as the phi I curve. So this is called hysteresis loop. This is called the magnetization curve. The nature of the curve will be same, but the scale will be different, obviously. Then actually, so if we want to observe the hysteresis loop, then instead of plotting B versus H, we may plot phi versus I also. Why? Because here it is not possible to extract B and H from the transformer which is in operation. Then actually, if we want to observe this in an oscilloscope, then we have to put some voltage proportional to phi on x-axis, some current proportional to magnetization current on the, sorry, some voltage proportional to phi on y-axis, some voltage proportional to magnetization current on x-axis. Why voltage? Because oscilloscope does not understand anything more than voltage. So we have to find out which voltage is we have to get. Now, magnetization voltage we have already got. That was V12. Can we remember?
Yes, yes.
V12 is this one. This one will give you the voltage proportional to I or the magnetization current, is not it? So obviously here we are closing the circuit. So it is accompanied with some current proportional to secondary current also. But the load is so low that we can approximately say that this is almost magnetization current because this load value of this load is very low as compared to the rating of the transformer. So V12 actually the VI. V12 will be the proportional to the voltage proportional to the magnetization current. So if we want to plot phi I curve, we can give V12 to the oscilloscope X plate as to give the magnetization current. So in x-axis, we can get this one. Now we have to find out one voltage which will be proportional to phi. Now every voltage in transformer secondary is proportional to phi because of the induced EMF is 4.445 FN and all the voltage in the secondary, say in this RC circuit, all the voltages, actually some part of this E2 because E2, total E2 is equal to summation of VR and VC. So any component VR, VC or some part of that, all are same as, are proportional to E2 or proportional to phi. But they are not, or they all are not in same phase with phi. We need a voltage exactly same phase with phi or and as well as in proportional to phi. If you see the phasor diagram, this is the phi. And all the induced EMFs are 90-degree lagging from phi. So if we want to get a voltage, then we have to shift any voltage we are getting here. Say that is V, say V2. then that is proportional to phi, but not in phase with phi. If we want to get a voltage proportional to phi and in phase with phi, then we have to shift this voltage 90 degree to get a voltage in phase with phi. That means V2 dash. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So only the voltage is not important, not necessary. Along with that, its phase is also important. So actually, we need a voltage which will be 90 degree leading from V2. So 90 degree phase shift is required. That's why we need the 90 degree angle is important. So if it is VGX, then we are getting one voltage VGY, which is 90 degree leading for the 90 degree phase shift, right? So in that case, VGY will be in phase with phi as well as proportional to phi, because VGY is a component of E2. So when this VGY will be, when this theta will be 90 degree, then in that case, this VGY will be V phi. That means a voltage proportional to phi as well as in phase with phi. So if we want to plot it in oscilloscope, in X plate we shall give VI equal to V12 that we can get from circuit, and V phi equal to VGY with the condition when theta equal to 90 degree. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Right? So if we, so first to get the magnetization wave curve or the BH loop in the oscilloscope, to so see that one, we need to get one voltage VGY to lead VGX by 90 degree. Why VGX? Because VGX is proportional to E2. So one voltage is 90 degree leading from VGX, that means it is 90 degree leading from E2. So when VGY is 90 degree leading, at that condition it is proportional to V5, nothing, not for the other cases. So in that case, we shall put it in the vertical plate of the oscilloscope and V12 in the horizontal plate. And we shall give the oscilloscope in dual mode because we want to plot V5 with respect to V12, not in respect to time. So we shall give the oscilloscope in dual mode. So for run 1 and run 2, oscilloscope should be in dual mode. Now if we want to see the waveform of VGY or V12 alone, then you just change the mode to X mode or Y mode. Then you, for X mode, you will check the variation in V12 with respect to time. For Y mode, you can check the variation in V5 with respect to time. You can say all the thing at the same screen, but at different instant. So what will be the circuit now? Circuit is same as the run 2, only the change in oscilloscope input. Now we shall give VGY to the vertical input of CRO and V12 to the horizontal input of the CRO, right? Then this is the circuit. Here, the primary circuit, all the circuit is same, that for run 2. Only the oscilloscope input is changed. For X plate, it will be V12. For Y plate, it is VGY. With the condition, before that, we shall achieve the condition VGY is leading VGX by angle theta, right? So this will be the only the change. Then if you see in the oscilloscope, you will say for 75 volt, you will get this one. For 100 volt, it is, you can see this one. You can see the wave, the BH loop is steeper here, but you can see here the scale is more. Channel 1 50 millivolt, channel 2 2 volt. And for this one, channel 1 is 10 millivolt, channel is 1 volt. Here, it is actually not B, actually it is V5 by V12. V5 is proportional to B or phi, and V12 is proportional to H or I, right? So if you see lab from laboratory, then it is coming in opposite direction, so you have to change the polarity. Right? In this way, we can adjust within the scale and we can get it. Similarly, for 110 volt. 110 volt, it will be beyond the screen, so you have to adjust the scale again. Some overlapping is coming because actually I1 is not perfectly magnetizing current, along with some secondary component is there. So there will be some overlapping. That is the limitation of our experimental setup. Okay, that's all. Now I shall give you the PPT along with the experimental apparatus used if I have right now, otherwise I cannot. Anyway, apparatus used rating you will not get, but from the figure I think you can list down what are the apparatus, and from the circuit also I have explained. So rating you cannot write, but what are the apparatus used? I hope you can write. Can you or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, but the maker's name we can
Maker's name
write.
company is not required because you are not doing this one anyway. And that is not actually mandatory also because you are not writing any report. Still, if I have this one, I shall send you along with PPT. I forgot to search this one. And right now, if I have, then I shall give you. Okay. So any question?
Ma'am, don't we need to any report?
Right now I have not got any instruction to give any report. Okay, so whatever lab you are doing virtually, you go through the lab and whatever points are mentioning teachers are mentioning, you note it down. There may be viva voce, there may be report, because report is how can you give a report because you are not doing anything. Anyway, I do not know right now what will be the strategy. Still, only you just copy the keep the PPT and understand it. Okay, whatever points you think it's important for you, note it down anywhere. There may be a multiple choice question or questionnaire also based on lab. I do not know what will be the procedure to assess the laboratory examination, right?
Okay, okay, ma'am.
So, and in case of any, I shall give you PPT after the class, after the second class with the remaining students. If you have any query, then you send me in personal email, from your personal email, not from group email, right? I think all of you know my email ID. I have given you the assignment or the
Yes,
class.
ma'am.
Yes, yes.
So you send me in personal email if you have any query, right? Okay, thank you. And ask the other people to join the class after leaving this. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.